Hi, Steve Schlagel here. I wanted to talk to you about how to fund a new business that you want to start. And this is a two-part video. This is part one. One of the ways to fund that business is to try to keep down the amount of money that you actually need to start it. That's obviously the easiest way. And so I've got up here, minimize your startup costs. And sometimes that's in the choice of the type of business that you go with. Oftentimes service businesses are much less expensive to start up front because you don't need a lot of stuff. If you're in a product-based business, you may need inventory and equipment, vehicles, and so forth, and that all adds up quickly, as well as often a larger facility. So those costs can be a lot more that you need to fund, and it becomes very difficult to do it, especially in a climate where business loans are hard to get. So one of the ways is try to hold down those startup costs by choosing a business that doesn't require a lot up front, or perhaps it's something you've been involved in on a part-time basis already and you've already acquired some of those assets. That will help to hold those startup costs down too. The second way is to think about outsourcing. And when we talk about outsourcing, that doesn't necessarily mean ship the jobs overseas. There are plenty of outsource individuals in the local area, in your own city or town, or throughout the United States. So outsourcing is a way to take and place secretarial services outside, marketing services, accounting services. You can have other people doing those things for you on an as-needed basis, especially in the early going, when you don't have a lot of business generated yet, so you don't really need to bring the employee on and incur all of those costs. Later on, once your business is flying, then it will be time perhaps to bring some people on board, and then you'll incur those employee costs, benefit costs, and so forth. But at the get-go, in order to keep those startup costs as low as possible, outsourcing lets you use it as you need it. Part-time. Another way to minimize the money that you need or the funding that you need to do your business is to start out slowly or start out part-time. Many a business was started while an individual was working for another company, either during the day or in the evenings, and then taking the other free time that they had and getting their business off the ground and going. Because you already have a paycheck coming in, your startup business doesn't need to generate so much money that it can provide a salary for you yet. It's a very, very safe way to get started as long as you respect your current relationship with your employer and you don't violate it while trying to get your own business up and running. Fourth way is to strike a deal, perhaps with your current employer or someone else that you know needs some services. Sometimes current employers will say, yeah, you want to start your own business, that's fine, but I still want to work with you. In fact, I think you're such a good employee and you're so valuable to us, we'll provide some office space for you here and some of the supplies and other things that you need if you're willing to do our stuff for a while in addition to other people's work. And so it could be with your current employer, it could be with another company that you know that's willing to trade you some space and services and so forth in exchange for doing some work for them. So striking a deal with somebody can be a good way to hold those costs down and get started. And the one that's often most overlooked is saving up for it. A lot of people have trouble setting money aside to do something, but if you know that you want to start a business down the road, you may have been setting some money aside that you can tap for that purpose. An alternative is to look at retirement plans. Lots of people have retirement plans out there, and it may make sense to draw money out of the retirement plan to invest in a startup business of your own, because that business could grow to be a very significant retirement asset for you one day when you sell it. There's a lot of tax and non-tax issues to why you might or might not want to do that, but certainly however much you can save for it makes a lot of sense. The rest of the ways that I want to talk about involve bringing on partners or borrowing money. Neither one that I'm greatly in favor of, but in video 2 of this set, you will learn a little bit about the pros and cons of going that route.